Have you noticed how people are posting a lot of image carousel posts on LinkedIn right now? And they're really quite engaging. Would you like to find out how you can create LinkedIn carousels? And you can do this by repurposing your content. Bonus, it could be the key to more engagement on LinkedIn. Listen in to find out more.
Welcome to the Content 10X Podcast, the show where content creators learn how to harness the power of content repurposing. And now, your host, Amy Woods.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Content 10X podcast. I'm your host, Amy Woods. I'm the founder of Content 10X. And in this week's episode, I'm talking about how you can maximize your content's engagement on LinkedIn by using carousel posts. Did you know that we process images 60,000 times faster than we read text? So that's why visual content does so well on social media. Posts with photos and videos get more engagement, and in fact, according to BuzzSumo, Facebook posts with images see 2.3 times more engagement than those without images. And perhaps even more impressive, tweets with images receive 150% more retweets than tweets without images. Now, if you're on Instagram, you may have noticed that image carousel posts are really popular on the platform. At Content 10X, we post at least one carousel post a week, and you probably won't be surprised to hear that we repurpose our weekly videos and podcast episodes into Instagram carousels. So be sure to check out my podcast episode, 4 Ways to Repurpose Content into an Instagram Carousel, which was episode 139, to find out more about this. That's content10x.com/139. Now, more and more recently, I've noticed this same style carousel post on LinkedIn. I've heard people say carousels and also LinkedIn slider post. Now, it's not that they're a new feature, but I've just noticed them get posted more and more. Now, have you considered creating LinkedIn carousel posts? I love to see these posts. I love seeing them on LinkedIn, especially when they're bright and colourful and full of great information or tell a really compelling story that has me clicking all the way through to the end. Now, they're fantastic for repurposing content too. You can take the story or key message of your content, break it down and share from a whole new and eye-catching angle as an image carousel. And they're also used by many of LinkedIn's top influencers as they're a brilliant way to drive more engagement. Gary Vaynerchuk is someone who makes a lot of this feature on LinkedIn with all sorts of really different types of carousel posts. Now, the carousel feature on LinkedIn has been around since 2018, so it's nothing new, but more and more people are now making great use of this type of content, and I've seen many people use it for repurposing their content too. And the carousel is great because it turns a static image into an interactive audience experience. People have to take action to find out more, and this really helps build a sense of community with your content as well. Carousels work on desktop and on mobile, which is great news because 57% of LinkedIn users access the site on a mobile device. So this makes carousels a no-brainer for maximizing your LinkedIn engagement because they take up so much space on the screen. Even on desktop, carousels can take up a huge chunk of your feed, and even more so on mobile. So if you want to get in front of people, carousels are a nice way to go. I'm going to explain how to create a LinkedIn carousel that's going to maximize your content engagement. And I'm going to give you some ideas for how to start repurposing your content into a carousel as well. Now, surprisingly, creating a LinkedIn carousel doesn't involve uploading pictures. It's a bit different to sites like Facebook and Instagram because actually you have to upload a document. Now, I know you're thinking that sounds a little bit weird, but it's kind of cool. You upload your document and LinkedIn turns that into a carousel of images. There are 5 steps to posting a carousel. So step 1, go to your LinkedIn homepage and click Start Post as if you're about to write a status. Then step 2, click on the document icon at the bottom of the text box. Step 3, select and upload your file. It must be under 100 megabytes and in PowerPoint, Word or PDF format. But if you're looking for the best quality, then always choose PDF. But beware that once the document is uploaded, you can't edit it. Step 4, give your document a descriptive title. This will appear at the top of your document and helps people to understand what it's about. And step 5 is add your copy, add your caption, so people know what it's about. Add hashtags as well to help you get found. And it's really that easy to post a LinkedIn carousel post, but just posting one doesn't make it great. The really important thing is to make it look visually appealing. Because I don't know about you, but I just wouldn't stop scrolling on social media to click through something that looked like a boring Word document. So it's got to have visual appeal. Now I'm going to tell you the 5 things that you need to do to make your LinkedIn carousel stand out and get the maximum possible engagement, and of course, how you can incorporate repurposing into the mix. So number 1, ask yourself, what's your story? The carousel is kind of like a flip book. People turn the page because they want to see what's next. So unless you hit that next button, you just don't see the next image. Before you create your carousel, you've first got to consider what the story is that you are telling, and then ask yourself what makes it compelling enough for your audience to click all the way through to the end. Now, most people scrolling on their feeds are looking for short bursts of information, so you don't need to go too overboard with text. Write short, impactful slides that leave your audience wanting more. The types of content that work really well with a carousel medium are things that provide value to your audience and also make a strong connection with them as well. Now, even though LinkedIn is the biggest professional social platform, people do really relate to authentic content, so they feel like they can make that connection with you. Now sit tight, because soon I'm going to explain how you don't need to start from a blank canvas when planning your carousel stories, because you can repurpose. Hey, just a little break from this podcast episode to ask you a question. Would you like one single place that you can go to that provides you with everything you need to be able to implement the best practices in content repurposing for your video content, your podcast episodes, and your social media content today? To help you get more value from the content that you create, get more time back, and help you reach more people than you ever thought possible. If so, then you are going to love the Content 10x Toolkit. The toolkit is full of video tutorials, templates, checklists, swipe files, step-by-step guides and more that shows you how to repurpose your content in the best ways possible today. No more Googling, no more figuring it out yourself. We provide you with everything that you need to become a content repurposing pro. If this sounds like something that would interest you, then go check out the Content 10x Toolkit at content10x.com/toolkit. Okay, and back to this week's episode. Now, number 2, create a powerful first slide. You only have one chance to hook your audience. It doesn't matter if you have 3 slides or 100. If they're scrolling on their homepage and they can only see your first slide, you need to make sure that first slide is compelling. You have to really spark the audience's interest, and there are a few ways that you can do this. Now, consider adding interesting questions that your audience will want to know the answer to, but holding that answer back until the next few slides. Or you could drop hints at what information your audience can access if they click through. For example, 7 ways to eat healthier without changing your diet tells me that I can get 7 quick pieces of information if I click the 7 arrows to follow. Number 3, keep your audience interested. Every click increases your engagement rate, so you really want people to go all the way through your story. You have to tempt your audience with what's on the next slide, and design choices like punctuation and graphics can help you achieve this. I've already mentioned asking a question and hiding the answer on the next slide, but using punctuation and things like ... and dashes can help lead your audience to click that next button. You can also use graphics like arrows, images that bleed into the next slide, or design choices like numbering your lists. Split sentences in half across 2 slides and build cliffhangers as well. Now, you could even show a countdown so people know that they're only partway through the story. Some people will just have to get down to the end of that countdown. Number 4, create a motivating call to action. When your audience reaches the end of your carousel, it means 2 things. 1, they've been interested in what you had to say, and 2, you have an opportunity to maximize engagement. A powerful final slide is your opportunity to convert, so think carefully about what action you want this person to take next. And your call to action might be something engagement based, so you might ask them to like the post, comment below, or share the carousel with their followers. Or it might be something else. Perhaps you want them to take the opportunity to go to your website or book in a call with you or download a free guide. And number 5, promote your content. You've spent a lot of time creating an amazing carousel, so give it the best chance to get amazing engagement when you upload it. Text posts do really well on LinkedIn, so don't be afraid to utilize the text space to create more intrigue about your carousel and do separate text posts about it too. But also don't give it all away up front. Think about teasing what people can find out once they start clicking your carousel. And it's also important to get your carousel in front of the right people, so think carefully about what topics your carousel covers and who might be interested in it. And when you post, hashtags are great for increasing outreach on LinkedIn too, so select 3 relevant hashtags and add them into the post description as well. And also, if your carousel includes quotes or input from others, then perhaps tag them in your caption too, only if it seems appropriate and if you know them, and maybe they will then reshare your carousel. So really, the more people it gets in front of, the better your engagement, but please don't tag inappropriately because that's just really, really annoying. I had such a great conversation with Mr. LinkedIn, Mark Williams, recently about how to win on LinkedIn. And if you want to hear more about that, then check out my interview with him. It was episode 148 of the Content 10X podcast. You might be wondering, Amy, this all sounds great, but how do I repurpose my content into a LinkedIn carousel? And really, it's all about being creative. It's up to you to find within your content the best content that suits a carousel, and there are lots of different types of content you can repurpose into a carousel. You could repurpose the main points of your blog posts or podcast episodes or videos. You could use client case studies, white papers, research studies, or even infographics to make an awesome carousel. Let's take an online bakery business as an example. They might have a blog on their website or a YouTube video about how to bake a simple chocolate cake. And this could become a step-by-step carousel teaching their audience the process of baking this yummy cake, and maybe just make them a bit hungry too. Now, they might use the same content to inspire a carousel about their all-time favourite chocolate cakes. They could even showcase all of the different types of chocolate cakes that they make in their bakery. And if they've got lots of great reviews on social media about their amazing cake service, they could package these up into a carousel of testimonials and thoughts from their happy customers. They could include pictures of their customers with all of their wonderful cakes. Perhaps the bakery went above and beyond to meet a really challenging cake brief, and maybe it required lots of new thinking or tools and it became a really special project. Well, how about creating a case study carousel to show the story of that challenge? Now, these types of posts are already so popular on LinkedIn and are great for showing an authentic side to a company. So really, when it comes to carousels, all you're limited by is your imagination. There's so many possibilities. So there you have it, how to repurpose your content into awesome LinkedIn carousels. I hope this has sparked your interest. Let me know if you found this useful, and please share your carousels with me on LinkedIn. I'd love, love, love to see them. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you liked it, then I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a review, and you might just feature in my next LinkedIn carousel post where I share all my podcast reviews as a carousel. If you want help with your content repurposing, then do head on over to content10x.com, where you can find everything out about our fully done for you content repurposing service. And also, if you want to learn more about repurposing content, then do check out my book, Content 10x. It's the ultimate guide to repurposing every type of content, available in Kindle, paperback and audiobook format too. Head to content10x.com/book, or of course you can find it on Amazon. It's also on Barnes & Noble available online too. Also, why not follow me on social media? I'm at Content 10x on all of the platforms, and just look for Amy Woods, Content 10x founder, on LinkedIn. All that's left to say is thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.